Provo, Utah. This is the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast with your hosts, Joseph DeGolier and Kaleb Schweiss. This is Ultima Final Fantasy.
Welcome to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. I am your host, Kaleb Schweiss.
I'm your other host, Joseph DeGolier.
And today we have an excellent interview with a longtime patron and longtime friend, both us personally and of the show, Banedrom. This guy has been through the ringer with us. He was one of the few, the proud, the FF11 Marines who led us through the main storyline campaign of FF11 and has picked up 14 with us. Hopefully we'll get to play with him again in the future. The man, the myth, the legend, Banedrom himself.
That's right. I do want to say that we started this interview thinking that we were just going to have a normal episode and kind of have him in the discussion segment, and then it just turned out to be a much longer than expected interview.
Yeah, so we're not going to do any news.
To our delight.
To our delight, yes, definitely. It's you guys' time when you jump on these Patreon episodes, and we had a great time talking about not only Final Fantasy, but some of the shows that we've inspired him to do.
Look at that.
And perhaps the...
it's a good ego stroke right there.
Yeah, it is. It's really stroking that thing to pleasure.
Yeah.
Where are you in Final Fantasy Lightning Returns?
I'm not.
You're not?
I'm not.
Okay. I didn't play it either, so I'm still on like day 2 of the game. I've just been trying to get through Tales of Zestiria, which I know is going to piss off some people because we're concentrating on the Nude Clan game more, but you know what? We beat 13-2 in like 2 weeks when we actually put our minds to it, so
yeah,
we'll be fine.
Just wait, we'll put our minds to this one,
and then we'll get it done.
Yeah.
Don't sweat it. I mean, we're gonna get it done, and we're gonna get to 14, and then, you know what? I think after that we might need to play King's Tale. To be completely honest, if we're gonna
I think so.
If we're gonna do what we're supposed to do, it should be King's Tale.
I think so.
For the 15 little spin-off prequel thing.
All right,
it's
well,
not canon.
This episode's already really long, so let's just go
ahead.
Is.
Oh, we got one more thing I want to announce, though.
Okay.
There's going to be a marathon, a charity marathon from July 14th through the 19th. This is going to be streamed at twitch.tv/thespeedgamers. All in all, it's going to cover 120 hours. Throughout the event, they're going to be running Final Fantasy 1 through 10, 12 through 13, and 15, and they're also planning to showcase a little bit of 11 and 14 if they do get it done. This is a charity. Let me see. What do they do on the charity for? Fuck. Sorry. Oh, and they're going to do it for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital.
Okay.
And I've actually seen these guys before, this Speedrun Gaming channel. I checked it out the other day, and I was like, oh, I've totally seen this on the main Twitch page. So, guys, keep an eye out for that. We're going to be promoting it when it gets a little bit closer. July is still a few months off, but just keep that in mind and, show up and hang out and donate if you'd like. Watch these guys speed run through the entire series, make our show look like chump change for the course of fucking 5 days.
Let's review each one.
Yeah, and it's like no, you said. But let's get into that. Let's get into that interview. Welcome, Banedrom. He's been a long-time listener, and we finally slated some time, put some time out of Joe's busy sleeping morning. And, and
I woke up 4 hours early for this.
Yeah, and here we are.
Here we are. We've had Banedrom on the show we've had him on, I want to say 3 times?
Yeah,
I was on 11. Well, it depends on the episodes. I was on 11, which we did a 2-part episode for. I was on 14, which we did like a 3-part episode for. I don't know how many shows you guys did for 14.
A lot.
But I think that's it. I don't think I've been on for any other episodes.
You've given us segments before. that we've taken
I
on.
submitted my my experience with 14 when you guys said goodbye to 14. Or no, when you said goodbye to 11.
We're not done with 14 yet. Come on.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right. So, Banedrom, he has, in his own way, he's graduated. He's gone on from the School of Ultima Final Fantasy podcasting, and he's gone on to create his own podcasting. And I do want to talk about your podcasting later on in this interview, Banedrom, just because it's exciting for me. And I know it's not Final Fantasy, but I don't care, honestly, because we've had you on like 16 times. So this Final Fantasy discussion, besides the Stump the Host, will probably be pretty short. Schweiss, should we ask him how you got into Final Fantasy?
Yeah, man. What was your introduction to Final Fantasy? FF8.
All right. Gosh, where to begin? So my Final Fantasy journey. I was one of the lucky few to be blessed with the Sega Genesis, or I got anchored with the Sega Genesis. I don't know what you would call it. I did not have an SNES, but my friends did. And I remember is sometime around 5th grade, maybe, I went over to my friend's house and he was playing this game. And I was like, dude, that looks cool. I sat down. He's like, a 2-player, man. Grab a controller. Pick your characters. But it wasn't like a fighting game. It was kind of like a game where you pick from a menu. And I was totally blown away by it. I picked a Bigfoot because I thought he looked cool. And I picked kind of a badass army-looking dude. So I was Sabin and Imaro, and we went into the Coliseum, and that's like my very first taste of Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy VI.
How old was
Coliseum battles? When did I play that? That was 5th grade for me, so I would have been like 10, 11.
So your friend was like far into Final Fantasy VI.
Well, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, honestly. Like, I'm thinking about that. A 5th grader playing Final Fantasy VI. I guess it's something that you could do. I certainly wouldn't have had the patience to get that far into Final Fantasy VI when I was in 5th grade.
That's nothing. When we were like 7, we were playing Russian Attack, like this NES game. We were playing Contra. I mean, I was like 7 when I got my first NES, and so like my trials were like Mega Man and like really hard games. So like I've been gaming for that long. I could have done that if I had an SNES. But no, I had a Sega Genesis. I was playing Altered Beast and just walking through a game and doing nothing. It was the easiest game ever. So that's like my first taste. It would be like a couple years later when I had my second taste. And that was maybe 3-4 years later. I went over to my cousin's house for like a family gathering. And, you know, what cousins do, they show you their video game consoles. What's going on in their house. He had this thing. It blew my mind. I thought it was like some supercomputer. It was actually just a PlayStation, because at that point I still had my Sega Genesis, and that's it. Dang. We didn't upgrade from the Sega Genesis. That was the last console that my parents got us. So that was it. I played Final Fantasy VII for like an hour and a half, and it was like he might as well have introduced me to crack. Because that was it. Like, as soon as I tried Final Fantasy VII, I was like, oh, this is like that game I played, but way better.
Yeah.
I actually started a new game, and I'm 99% sure that I saved over his game file. I don't know how far he was, but I didn't know what I was doing, and he left me alone with the system, and I had no idea. And it said save your game. I was like, sure. And I'm sure another message came up, and I was like, fuck it, I'm saving my game. I want to play. That was my very first time, though, playing a PlayStation and a Final Fantasy, and I totally made it to the Guard Scorpion and beat him on my first shot. I didn't get a game over at that point, so
way to go, man.
Way to not know how to read. It's more what it is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know me. Even then, that was skipping any sort of dialogue, pressing that button as fast as I could to get through it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, we're familiar with that. With that scheme that you got going on.
Yeah, Tales of Zestiria we've been playing lately. That's read the dialogue, skip the
I wasn't
acting.
suggesting that. I was suggesting Banedrom's skipping of cutscenes in FF11.
It's not limited. It's not limited to MMOs. It's every game I play. Are you kidding me?
Okay. Okay. So go ahead.
The next thing is I get my first job. I get my very first paycheck. 16-year-old Banedrom driving to Toys R Us on a Friday night, buying a PlayStation, a memory card, and Final Fantasy VII. And that's where my story really begins with Final Fantasy. Like, from that point forward, I played every Final Fantasy on release that came out after that. When I got a computer is when I went back and played some of the older ones, because I started with 7 and played 8 and then 9 and then I think 10 before I really had a computer and found out what ROMs were. I know we don't support ROMs. I do. I said it. I do.
No.
But
Yeah, some of us don't.
So that's how I first played 5, and then I did 4, and then just went backwards from there and played some of the older ones.
So, are there any in the series that you haven't played?
No. I've played every mainline and most of the sequels. I've never played Dirge.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's my thought, is that is barely a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, you needed to play Dirge on release for it to be enjoyable at all, because there weren't standardized controls for shooters back then, and it was okay to have an awful control.
Well, I'll say when it came out, I wanted to play it, but I think it came out while I was maybe in college. What year did Dirge come out?
It was like
2007.
2007.
Yeah.
Fuck, I was already done with college. What the hell? I thought Dirge came out way earlier than that. Was that a PS2?
It was 06, but yeah.
Oh, it was
still.
06.
Yeah, it was PS2.
All right. Well, yeah. So it came out at a point in my life where video games were not a priority. So I was not. I wanted to, because Vincent was actually my favorite character from 7. I mean, not in gameplay wise, but just like his story, I thought was amazing. He looked cool as hell. Obviously, I have a history with horror movies, so it was a no brainer that Vincent was my favorite character.
Right.
And then the online games, same thing. I didn't play those on release because it was kind of, I had my MMO of choice, and I was like, I looked at 11, I was like, fuck this game. This game sucks.
Well, yeah.
No, I think the only other one that I've never played is Lightning Returns. I think other than that, every spin-off, not the weird ones though, not like what's the one with 10 and 10-2, the mid one where it's not really a game. You guys did it for the show. I don't even remember what it's
Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
What is that? Last Mission.
Yeah, last mission.
I didn't do that, so I don't know.
What?
Shame on me.
Come on here telling us Lightning Returns is the only one, and then here it comes, the flood of other games. Did you do the Crystal Chronicle games?
It keeps going. The floodgates are open. I never played After Years either for Final Fantasy IV.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's all right. I don't think a lot of people have played After Years, to be honest.
I did play the Game Boy Advance version of 5, though, to get the extra classes and stuff. So I did do that.
Oh, nice.
I love Final Fantasy 5, by the way. When we do my rankings, I think you guys are going to be pretty surprised.
Oh, I guess not anymore now. You said that.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy V
spoiled.
was so much.
It's top, but it's pretty high up, and it's above ones that I think are more traditionally liked than Final Fantasy 5.
Hey, so I know you had some issues come up when you were playing the MMOs, and it made you stop playing FF11 with us.
Oh God, yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that came up, Human Life.
Yeah, Human Life. I know we got
What is this life?
secondary to video games, really, but sometimes they have to take priority. So, are you ever going to return to FF11? Is just a question I have. FF11 or FF14, or are you done with
I will
MMO?
say right now, I am more apt to play 11 than I am 14 again.
What?
Wow.
Now, here's the thing. You guys know me well enough to know that it's all about nostalgia for me. 14 is a solid game, and the gameplay is pretty much as good as it's going to get for an online Final Fantasy game. I think their mechanics are airtight. You guys agree? 14 is pretty much a solid game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But 11 has that nostalgia factor because it is so much like my original MMO EverQuest that I can do that. That the gameplay didn't bother me. The slowness, the clunkiness, none of that bothers me. It really doesn't. I would like to go back and do the stuff that you guys got to do, honestly. I mean, I know you guys are done. I don't blame you for being done with it because you put in twice as much as I did. After I left, what you guys did after I left might have equaled all that we did before. Because listen, talk about it. I was like, thank fucking God I did not play the rest of that. I would have blown my brains out.
Yeah,
Imprimaturs?
It did.
Yes, that's specifically, Joe. Imprimaturs. No, I don't want anything to do with timed anything anymore. That's what I'm not doing with.
I think we were around 5 days when we all played 11. At least Joe and I were somewhere in the 5-day, 6-day range. When we finished that fucking thing, it was like 25, 27 days. Something like that.
I don't think it was that long.
Single digits. I think I was at 9 days and some hours. I don't think I made it to 10 days.
Oh man, it was a push.
15 days. Sorry.
It was a push to the end, man.
It was 21 days for Crinitol. That's what it was.
Oh.
So we put 10 extra days. We were only a third of the way done when we finished the main quest and then the subsequent storyline to finish out.
I think the way we did it, though, is the most palatable way to do it. Unless you can go back in time and play it on release and really have that experience, I cannot see maxing out every class or every job and just doing everything in that game, because it's just not going to be fucking fun. I don't know. It takes a rare breed to enjoy grinding that much. But that does not exist in me. I don't have that pedigree. It's not for me.
I think the biggest reason why I'm more disappointed in the fact that you would go back to 11 now before 14 is because we're done with 11. And it's like, where were you before?
I will say, what is it? Stormblood? Is that the name of the expansion?
Yeah, the 14s, yeah.
It has some appeal. I'm not a huge fan of the classes. Put Beastmaster in there, and then we're talking. Okay. That would be a guarantee. I'll tell you right now, I would get back in. When Final Fantasy 14 has a Beastmaster, I'm in day one.
Just be a summoner. It's kind of similar.
I already am. That was my character. I was a summoner. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
That's what I did the whole time. I was a summoner, and then when I realized how hard it was to play DPS, because you just got to sit around all the time, that's when I switched to other classes. So
I don't know. It's not too much longer, because I think all we have is Lightning Returns, and then it's 14.
Yeah,
That's a little crazy.
Yeah.
I guess.
Remember the time when you guys were concerned about getting it in before 15?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's really cool is that we've known each other long enough that 15 was still like an abstract idea when we started talking and we were playing 11. And then now it's out and it's almost damn near forgotten already.
Yeah,
I don't think 15's forgotten. Not for me, anyway.
Well, we're done with it, though. You haven't put the game in for like 3 months.
I mean, the game came out, and then we put a lot of time into it. I put a lot of time into it, way more time than I usually put into these Final Fantasy games before I say I'm done with them. And then we did a 6-hour review of it, and a follow-up thing. I pretty much said what I've needed to say about 15.
Cue the shame bell. 15 is unfinished for Banedrom.
Oh,
unfinished.
What?
Yeah,
it's such a quick game.
It is, but I'm not am I a story guy? Let's answer that question right now. Am I going to play through just for the story? No, I'm a max your character out and then breeze through the story. So I think I'm level 40ish, somewhere in there. I could probably do the story and be done with it. I just started hanging out with the Dragoon lady. She's pretty cool. I like her a lot, actually. I don't know her name because I don't read any of the dialogue or skip all the cutscenes. So, but she looks cool.
Yeah, she's cool. She's cool.
So no, I'm not finished with Final Fantasy 15. So shame on me.
If you're skipping so much, Banedrom, then you have to explain to me why. And we know this because we've had you on before. Why is FF8 your favorite if you're skipping story so much?
Because it was the last story that I've taken. No, it's not. I did take in the story of 9, 10, 12, 13, I think is where it starts to get lost. And not for the same reason as everyone. I didn't mind that you had to read for 13. That didn't bother me. But after that, I grew up. I mean, 13 came out when I was still gaming pretty hardcore. Post 13, it took 9, 10 years for them to release a story-driven Final Fantasy. And that was it. By then, I was done with story. It's just I don't have the patience in me. I'm considerably older than you guys. I'm damn near mid-30s now, and when I play a video game, I like
next to the grave, man.
Yeah, I'm foot in. I'm foot in. Old graybeard Banedrom now. That's it. Old man Banedrom, nothing. I take graybeard now.
All right.
What it turns into is when I have time to play video games now, because as you said, I have a whole bunch of podcasts now. I still work 2 jobs, one of which is a very intensive job that some people can't handle by itself. I don't have time to play 12 hours of video gaming on a weekend anymore. I just don't. It's not a possibility for me. So I like to be able to sit down, play 20, 30 minutes of really fun gameplay, and then done for a while. I don't want to sit down for 20, 30 minutes and make 0.1% progress and then go away. That's why I liked 15, though, honestly, because I could do a dungeon and be done for a while. And that was fun. It was like those dungeons were bordering on a little long for someone like me. But they were fun. They were like bite-sized dungeons. I thought they were good. But as far as stretching that shit out, yeah, I'll probably be playing it for the next 6 months before I finish it.
Damn.
I think it's worth finishing, and I think there's plenty of gameplay in there. A lot of people are complaining about the side quests and stuff like that, but it's really just to level you up and explore the world.
Absolutely. It adds depth.
Yeah, I think it does. But some people are comparing it to like Witcher 3, which I've never played, but it's apparently...
You know what? Again, whatever. Roast me at the spit if you have to. I didn't like Witcher 3. I bought it. I bought Game of the Year edition, and I liked it not nearly as much as I thought it would.
Yeah, there's a lot of people I know that really like the card game in it, and that's like it. Like they dig they think the game's okay, but they're really addicted to.
It's solid. It's got a decent combat system. It's a little intense for your average gamer. I think they'd get lost in there, but it's certainly no For Honor. Fuck that. I tried the demo. I was like, nope, not for me anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I'm at the point now where I actually understand why my father stopped playing video games after NES. I get it now. I do.
It's just too much.
For Honor is great, and visually it's a cool looking game. But the amount, like, I'd get fucking carpal tunnel syndrome. I can't do it. Like, that's a thing. That was happening. Like, I know people were tendonitis playing that game.
Wow.
Is it just, it's too move intensive, I guess? It's a large learning curve. It's like a MOBA and like an action sort of game, but all the characters are different. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't think I could pick up another one of those again.
I like the depth that each of the three factions got. I thought that was solid. I don't dislike 15. I'm an old man. I don't have the fucking time to sit and play games like I used to. I'm enjoying it. I think it's a great game. I cannot in good conscience put it in my rankings because I'm not done. Gameplay wise, it's pretty high up there. It's a very smooth playing game. Story, I'll do the new game plus and just plow through the story to get the story when I do it, because I think that's a better way for me to absorb that story, is to just play through it without doing any of the side quests.
It's also very fast. So.
Yeah, all the side quests that I'm doing are really like you said, it's to level you up, to add depth to the world, but it's also really distracting because in the past month I don't think I've done a story mission.
Yeah,
I've only been doing side quests, so like I kind of don't remember what I'm doing in the story anyways.
Yeah, that happened to us as well when we were playing it, and I ended up doing a playthrough of New Game Plus. It only took me like 8 hours or 9 hours or something like that.
I'm looking forward to that, to get the story. And that's also, I'll tell you, I haven't watched Kingsglaive for the same reason. Like, I'll watch that before I do my New Game Plus.
I promise you it's not worth it.
I don't know, man. Banedrom's a big fan of the 80s movies, so maybe.
Well, there are good 80s movies. He doesn't like Princess Bride, found out.
No fucking way do I like
Banedrom, those are hurtful words.
Yeah.
Oh my God, though, wait till you hear the next episode. Demolition Man. I just about shit my pants for Demolition Man. I love that fucking movie.
Best sword fight of all time is in Princess Bride. You should at least give
okay, wait a minute. Pause right now. Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not fucking kidding you.
Choreographed sword fight I've ever seen in my life. I think the only thing that's worse is old-ass Obi-Wan versus old-ass Darth Vader in episode 4.
I'm not talking about visual skill. I'm talking about character building and how it's reflected within the story.
All right.
Within the sword fight. And it's just wildly entertaining if you have a heart, which you do not.
We all know there's a cold black lump that that's supposed to exist.
Yeah. He's old man is in quotes. He's actually undead, and he's been here for thousands of years and cannot enjoy the heartfelt character development.
Just Clint Eastwood from Gran Torino. I just sit on my porch all day sneering at people. That's it.
I thought you liked Rob Reiner.
No, well, you know what? I love Spinal Tap.
Okay.
But I mean, you listen to the show. I just forgot, dude. Everyone is
No,
so.
I listened to the first 5 minutes and I was like, this is going to put me in a bad mood.
So many people did that. That I guarantee you, I made so many enemies that are like, fuck this guy. I'm done with this dude. No, like, that's it. They draw a line when I say a word against Princess Bride.
Well, I just was like, you know what? I like Banedrom, but I just can't listen to this right now.
Listen to your tones, your dulcet tones every week, and I get for one bad opinion. I disagree with everything you say, Joe, and I listen to it anyway.
Banedrom, your tone was evil and grinding. That's what it was. It was like it hurt. It hurt.
When we went to record that episode, I was really pissed off from the whole day. I just had a shitty day, and I sat down with Andy and I was like, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to lambaste the shit out of this movie because I'm so grumpy and I want to take out all my aggression on Princess Bride. And I did.
Well, that's good. That's good.
I'm glad I stopped at the 5-minute point.
You should have gone on because I totally fanboyed on Andre the Giant, though. He was awesome.
All right. I'll maybe give it a second chance while I'm at work if I wanted to slip my wrist.
So speaking of Final Fantasy XI, I mean, we've been pretty big proponents of the game. We've shit on it. We've cried with it. It's made us suffer, but I feel like it's a game worth playing. I mean, what would you tell to people who are hesitant for 11, but then, well, okay, what about this? There's this fucking group of people out there that say they won't play the MMOs, but then they play 14.
You can name names. I'm not going to name names, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, there are some who just refuse to play the MMOs, and then when they hear 14 is very similar to a lot of the games, which, FYI, so is 11, they suddenly jump on the 14 train, and they love it. They find out that it's a great game. Like, what would you say to someone who was on the fence for Final Fantasy XI to try to get them to play, or vice versa? I mean,
Final Fantasy XI is a Final Fantasy game. There's more elements to that make it a Final Fantasy than there are to 14. I think story-wise, character jobs, like those character. Okay, do you guys remember when we did the job quests to go get your armor?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's some of the best questing I've had in any Final Fantasy game ever. I enjoyed it so much going on and doing my Beastmaster quests. I really did. There was real depth to that. And I think a lot of people jump on the bandwagon immediately because 11 has such a bad reputation. In fact, today I looked just to see what like the popular rankings were, and it's like at the bottom. And it blows my mind because it has such a bad reputation that I think people are predisposed to dislike that game for some reason.
Yeah, it's like the cool thing to shit on.
Yes, exactly. It is. And I don't get it because I'll admit I didn't want to play it, but not because I didn't think it was a Final Fantasy. I didn't play it because I already had an MMO, and you can't play 4 different MMOs. It doesn't work that way. You have to invest every ounce of your time into one game at a time in that vein. Final Fantasy XI is a Final Fantasy game. And if you're going to play 14, I'm just going to say it's not fair. It's not fair to 11. And it's not fair for you to call yourself like part of the elite. I mean, we've done it now. We've played every mainline game, including the MMOs. Oh. Do you guys playing 11 in any way?
No.
Do I feel like playing 11 again? Is that what you said?
No. Yeah. You guys you did it 100%. Your completions. Yeah, I mean, that's it. They're done. I'm not at that point, and that's why I have the willingness to go back. Those free login months, I'll tell you right now, I'm very tempted when they have the free logins. I'm very tempted to go back in and play. I had to uninstall it from my machine because I knew that I would go back into that game. Yeah. And it'd be even worse now because you guys wouldn't be in there.
Yeah.
If it was a free login, I might join for some.
I think honestly the biggest thing for me getting into that game was like it doesn't hold your hand in any process, including the registration, which may be the worst thing.
It is the worst thing. Yeah, if that's what we can all agree on, that registration is the worst thing about the game, come on. Like, seriously, get past that 8 hours of dealing with download patches and trying to guess the 2 different passwords you have to remember to log in, and then good.
Yeah, I would almost argue that 11 has the best job system in the entire series. And now
Totally.
I know Final Fantasy V's is really good, but with 11 you've got the same kind of cross job capabilities, but I think it takes it a step further in a lot of ways.
I absolutely agree. It's the transition is so seamless. The only thing they could do that would make it better is that you wouldn't have to go to your Mog house to change jobs.
Yeah,
if you
just
could
change
do it
on
on
the fly.
that would be hands down the best job system. It's also the most diverse. It has more jobs than 14 for sure, and the jobs are even very specialized. I mean, you have puppeteer in that one. How many games have a puppeteer that are in Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
I mean, the automatons are all over the place, and now they're in 14 as well. I know we fought some of those puppets, but that puppeteer class, I would have done it had I stuck it out. That would have been my next class. You guys know I only did one. I did Beastmaster to 99. I did Warrior to 45 for my cross-class abilities, and I stopped there. I stopped leveling up and just focused on gameplay. And it was fun. But if you're going to go and try and do everything, and I think that some of our friends had this issue, like Artforian tried to do too much. He spread himself too thin.
Yeah, he did try to do a bunch of job leveling, didn't he?
He did. He was doing all the weird ones too, but he did the right thing and played Blue Mage, because Blue Mage is easy mode on Final Fantasy 11.
I think I think an issue going into that game right now is that the group isn't there.
Yes.
So I think that's like number one. But number two is whether or not you're going to, because you can go through the game so fast if you figure it out and you figure out how to level and stuff. And we have oodles of episodes for you guys just to listen to before you play FF11 to tell you to get you to skip some hours worth of frustration, I think.
Yeah.
I think that, like, I don't know, man. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
Think of how much faster we could do it now, though.
Yeah, it'd be way easier.
That's true. But I am wondering, like, would you want to just do it like we did and like pound through the story, or do you
without the moral support of a group, you're in for a grim task.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, like, if you're gonna get into FF11, you got to decide whether or not you want to go through it like crazy, or if you want to enjoy it like you're supposed to enjoy an MMO.
Honestly, I think my advice, if you're going to get into 11 now, if you're going to give it a chance, which I advise anyone who has played all the other games, if you've played 14 out of 15 games, I cannot imagine that this game holds anything of, like, there's no veracity to the idea that this is a bad game. There's not. It's not a bad game. The story is solid. It's not a bad story. It has a good story. I just don't remember most of it because I didn't pay much attention. I know it was compelling, though. I know that. The gameplay is fine, too. You just have to be ready to go take a step back. And, people can play Final Fantasy 1 and beat it in 8 hours and be like, that was fun. It's nostalgic. 11's the same thing. It's just a longer commitment. You can go through the first expansion in probably a month. You could get it. We did it in about a month, right? The first game plus the first expansion.
I think you could do it if you knew what you were doing. Like if me and Schweiss or you were to go into that game right now,
fresh accounts.
First thing we would do would we would go and level up, and we would know exactly where to level. And then
we would equip a weapon, right?
We would do that.
Yeah. I would figure out what class I was choosing and then choose the best weapon for that class right away.
You'd get some good equipment, or like even like you would just go to the thing and get some just regular equipment, and you just over level and you'd beat the Bastok or whatever missions you decided to do, Windhurst or Bastok, and you could say, I think at that point, that you beat the game. And I don't think that would take 20 hours.
No. And even without knowing the maps, I remember the hardest thing about 11 being learning the world, like learning how to navigate the world and memorizing the maps, because it's so big. I mean, it might be the biggest Final Fantasy.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
14's big and all.
I don't think there's a doubt.
You can fucking walk to almost every fucking place in that game, and that is sick.
You have to walk to
You have
many
to
places.
the first time, yeah. You there's no fucking choice. Like there was one night where we were like, all right, we need to find Sandoria, and we spent like I felt like hours.
It
of
did.
just walking to find this new
It was
nation.
hours. I remember there being nights where we agreed that we just needed to get to the place. That was our goal. We didn't even think like we were going to do things. All right, we have to spend hours getting to the location so that tomorrow we can log in and just do what we were supposed to do.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's huge.
But for all of our, kind of ripping on it, can we not all agree that it was fun going through that together?
I think so, but I think for me, it's not so much the game. It's more the people. And
The camaraderie. Yeah, absolutely. And so my biggest piece of advice is find a group of people to go in with.
Yeah.
Start this with other fans. Start this with other people. And I know that there is a subset within this UFF listener community that has always said, I won't play 11 or I haven't yet. Get together, all of you, and do it together, and I'll guarantee you will have a good time.
Yeah, we have this amazing forum in front of us here. This place, this culmination of fans that you can reach out to, and we can get something started. Like,
there's also a PS4 chat. Which
there is.
Seems to be even more. Like, I go on there, I'm like, oh, there's so many messages.
Yeah. We've got people for you. If you want to get into 11, we can do it. And I will tell you this. If you get late game, if you call, Krinital will answer.
Krinital. It's just
he's the man. He will be there. It's like
he will answer, and he will give you left-right directions instead of east-west, and he will guide you through the game verbally.
Yes.
It may take some time. He'll do it. He will get you through that game.
I do remember the left-right, and it's like, dude, I
don't know what you're saying. Left, what perspective? Which direction are you facing? What left?
Yeah. But really, though, it's there are those who will answer the call. So
there are. You know what? This morning, 8 a.m., I'm awoken by a ding, and it's Darth Jamu.
Oh, look at that.
I talked to Jimmy. He told me to give you guys a shout-out. And he said there's this really cool game. I think it's Chrono Trigger. He said you guys should check that out.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's not
I've heard of Chrono Trigger.
I delivered the joke for the man himself, Darth Jamu.
Nice.
No, he's a good guy. And you know what? That's what's more fun about this than anything else is remembering, like, dude, there's this random guy in Sweden that I still talk to because of Final Fantasy 11.
Yeah, like
who doesn't sleep.
Krinital. I have the ultimate end of so many jokes, but I love the guy to death. Krinital.
Yeah, that's what it's about, man. And it's a lot of fun. And the reason why
we ate pizza with him in New Jersey.
It's true. Yeah, we hung out. He was in our hotel room for a long time.
I know what hentai is. Artiforian. Thank you.
Thank you, Artiforian.
Yeah, but one of the big reasons why I think I actually like 11 more than 14 in a fair amount of ways is not only the camaraderie, but the need for other people. I mean, 14, you can queue up in dungeons and you can get random people and it's fine. Sometimes that doesn't work out because people are
almost
fucking
robotic.
Assholes.
Isn't it it's like they might as well be trusts because there's no talking. You might get a hi folks in the beginning, but that's it. Sometimes there are whole dungeons where if you're not fast enough, they criticize you because you're not robotic in going through the dungeon. You don't have it memorized.
Yeah. Especially if you're a tank and you're Caleb Craig, then they'll just shit on you all day. To the point where he just like cries and leaves the game forever.
Dude, this game sucks.
Yeah. The fucking community are assholes, dude. I think that's what he told me. He's like, I'm not fucking playing this anymore, man. They're like, oh, you don't know the maps? Well, fuck you. And everybody leaves. And it sucks because like that's the one time it's an MMO and you have to fucking do the dungeon to get through the story to play by yourself again to learn the game. So you're just fucked. So don't play a tank. It's the real moral.
You know, it's funny to me is that
start as a DPS and then play a tank.
You know, Craig was on the show last week. We made a bunch of fat jokes, and he plays a tank.
Yeah,
plays a tank.
Caleb Craig not on the show this week, guys.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Okay, Banedrom. Best favorite Final Fantasies and best Final Fantasies and least favorites.
So separate like rankings will come last. Then I'm just
we'll do the rankings.
Best and my worst. Final Final Fantasy VIII remains my favorite. Now, it's not the best Final Fantasy VIII game, or it's not the best Final Fantasy gameplay. However, I've written diatribes about this in one of the 8 websites you guys have had. If you go back and try and see those forums somewhere, one of the websites, I've got like a thesis about why 8 was my favorite. Boil it down, the story plus where I was in my life plus like being the same age as the characters, because I was 17 when I played Final Fantasy VIII. I got so into that game that I lost who I was and became part of the fucking game. So to this day, 8 remains my favorite. I have no less than 4 Final Fantasy VIII tattoos. Like, I wear it proud. I love Final Fantasy VIII.
All right.
I do too, Banedrom. It's okay. It's okay. You're safe here.
It's not just the story, though. I mean, if you, as someone who just wants to go out and collect everything, I fucking enjoyed finding those draw points, running around in circles and drawing and drawing. Because you know what? When I hit 100, I was like, fuck this, I'm done now. And now I'm God mode at strength.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's...
I mean, it doesn't bother me. I will say I really didn't like, it's like the underwater research facility where you take a step and random encounter.
Oh, yeah.
Step, random encounter. A step, random encounter. That got kind of old, but it was so much. I think it took Final Fantasy VII. Okay, whatever. I'm going to say it, and improved on it in many ways, including story for me, including gameplay for me. Yes, I'm going to say it. I am.
All right, go ahead, say it.
But then it graphically at the time, I might as well have been watching like fucking reality. It looks so much better than Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, that's fair.
I
might have wept when I saw that opening cutscene. I may have wept of joy. Yes.
And then you cried again later because you're like, it doesn't mean anything. They're trading. It's a trading exercise. It does set up their character plight against each other, though.
It does. It absolutely does.
That works, but that's fair. It was a fucking epic opening. After playing 7 a bunch, I get 8. I'm like, oh my God.
You know, Badger, I actually quote you all the time when you're talking about falling in love with Renoa.
God,
and it's really, you're falling in love with the idea of Renoa if you're young enough to do it.
Yeah, I was 17. I mean, Jesus, I crushed on her so hard. And to this day, when I think of all the female leads of Final Fantasy, Renoa is way up on that list. Still may be number 1. I really like Lightning a lot because she's like the epitome of a badass like warrior woman. But Renoa is quirky. She's cute. She's snarky. And she's a brunette. There's my list. That's what I need. I'm down.
Brunettes
I'm down.
Are winners.
Yep.
Okay. You got your rankings?
I got my rankings. Okay. Oh, wait. I got to say some of the worst Final Fantasies.
All right. Well, just, if you want to talk about something Final Fantasy, just go for it.
Yeah, you can go through the list and then give us why you think it's worst.
Most enjoyable to least enjoyable for me. Okay, this is a combination of nostalgia, combination of gameplay. I'm not saying that my number 1 is the best Final Fantasy. I'm saying I enjoy playing that game the most.
Sure.
Okay. Number 1, Final Fantasy VIII. Let's rip that Band-Aid off. Number 2, Final Fantasy VI. I think the story is, for a fucking Super Nintendo game, that might as well be the crowning achievement of Super Nintendo.
Oh, I think it is, but...
Well, some people think it's another game.
The Chrono?
Which I haven't played.
No. And I have played that. I'll tell you right now. Final Fantasy VI destroys the story of Chrono Trigger. Absolutely destroys it.
Chrono Trough.
It's the in-between game of
Chrono
Trigger and Cross.
Yeah, trough of bullshit.
Chrono Pig Trough.
Number 3, Final Fantasy 12. And I will tell you right now, I'm going to be playing that. I'll stop 15 to play that in July.
Oh, I would too if I was going to take 6 months to beat it.
It's the elusive. It's the only game that I haven't had access to in about 7 years now. I gave up my PS2. I had one of the silver ones. I had one of the really cool PS2s that were silver with the silver controller.
Nice,
and I had Final Fantasy 12, my original copy. Gave it to a friend. Gave my PlayStation to a friend. and never got it back, and it's impossible to get back at this point. I do have my disc for $12. I have no way to play it, and I'm not going to go out and buy another PS2. So
there
that's
is
done.
that. I mean, if the remaster wasn't coming out, I would say there is that program you can download on your computer that lets you high def it.
I knew the remaster was coming. I bid my time well.
Okay,
so
that's fair.
You're rewarded for that.
It's
I'll tell you
definitely
right
too
now.
late now, but a year ago, maybe it would have been worth it.
After that, here it comes. Final Fantasy V.
There
Nice.
you go. That's what I'm
I
talking about.
think that the job system in that game, I don't know how many hours I spent in the basement of one of those castles fighting fucking statues to max out every job in that game. But I do. On my iOS version, I have every job maxed out for every character.
Damn, dude.
But it's easy when you're on iOS because you can play at high speed and you can just set it on auto battle. taking a page out of the book of Degolier.
Yeah.
And, set it up for auto battle, watching movies, just walking around in circles, fighting those statues, collecting that AP. Number 5, Final Fantasy VII. Great game. Like my first, I would say 7 on this list. Even the first 8 are great games. Like, it's really hard to say that 5 is better than 7 when they're both like almost 10 for me. They're both ranked at, like, if I had to rank them individually, they're both like a 10. They're both excellent games, but I just happen to like 5 more. 7 is an awesome game. It's my first completed Final Fantasy by myself.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it's like trying to rank the, Best Picture nominees. When I do that, it's like, all right, where do I put this 5-star movie against this 5-star movie? It's like, fuck.
Great. So yeah, they're all great games in this case. And Vincent Valentine, man, that as far as I'm concerned, he might be the most intriguing character of all Final Fantasy for me. I know I joke about Yumaro all the time, but that's because I love Bigfoot. Vincent's story plus the completely made up backstory that I've invented in my mind for what a cool character he is makes him so damn cool.
I wonder if that will be ruined by Dirge.
Yeah, your fan fiction will be crushed.
I may never do it just for that reason. But number 6 on the list, Final Fantasy IX. I think that it is a great game. Again, it's another damn near perfect game. For me, the battle speed is so slow.
Makes you want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
It does. Even on the iOS version where you can speed it up and it's all like cleaned up graphically. It's the same exact graphics. They just up the resolution on the character models. It's as good as that game's going to look, and it's still really fun, but the battle speed is so slow. It's just, and there's moments in that game that they drag.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know about dragging too much. I think there are some like cutscenes that run a little long in 9. For me, I think I complained about it being text heavy when we
you did
when we reviewed it.
I also have to criticize the freakish character models in that game. The monsters and that's a whole game of chibi stuff. They're all shrunken down cutesy versions of monsters. I just don't like it at all.
But
fair. I think that the cutscenes are phenomenal in that one. That is if Final Fantasy VI is the pinnacle for SNES, Final Fantasy IX is pushing the PlayStation 1 to its maximum. Like that game, the cutscenes in that game are like PlayStation 2 cutscenes on a PlayStation 1.
Yeah, they're good.
Really solid.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I also remember the music being really good in that game. Kuja's theme is badass. I still play that. I have that on my phone, and I still play it once in a while. Number 7, Final Fantasy X. I think the story is phenomenal. It's heart-wrenching. It's like a kick in the emotional nuts at the end of that game. Hugging the ghost, Tidus.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Jeez, Banedrom.
If you're listening to a fucking Final Fantasy podcast, I don't want to hear about spoiler alert.
16-year-old game. That's not enough time, Banedrom.
Yeah, get the hell out of here. That was another one. So I went out and bought Final Fantasy VII with my PlayStation 1 and a memory card. I bought a Generation 1 PlayStation 2, Final Fantasy X, and a second controller. I remember that purchase. Circuit City, circa, 2001,
Oh
2002.
my God, dude. Circuit City was like my favorite place to go in the world.
I know, and we never had money for it at our age.
Nope.
It's like, man, I wish I had like $70.
Oh, Circuit City. Jeez.
I spent $300 on my first PlayStation 2. I bought it when they first came out. I had that big clunky
dude.
one.
That's the one I have too.
Yeah.
It's the way to go.
I had the slim, and I was always like putting my nose up at Caleb's clunky one, but then mine crapped out.
Yeah, and that fucker's just keeps on keeping on.
It just keeps going.
Yeah, they're fucking unkillable, man. I'm telling you.
It's like a Ford F-150 from like.
Yeah,
they just keep going.
It doesn't die. It's a fucking tank.
All right.
Number 8, Final Fantasy 13. I think it's a great game. Again, that's like on the cusp of still being a great game on its own, but in comparison, it goes down on the list. I think the world of Final Fantasy VIII, because I've only played, or Final Fantasy 13. I played the first two. I really liked Final Fantasy 13 Part 2, and I agree with your guys' review that it improves on Final Fantasy 13 in almost every way. I think that the gameplay is so much better than Final Fantasy 13. I think they learned a lot. Sped it up. I did like the monster system that you like had your third party member was a monster. I thought that was a really neat thing to do. The story is confusing as shit, though. That's really all there is to it. I don't know what's going on in that series. I don't read story. I don't listen to story as it is. That's just over the top.
Yeah, if there's ever one to not listen to, it's probably 13. Not because it's awful necessarily. It's just that like we played it and I still didn't really understand what was going on for part of it. And I'm like, well, if you're going to skip it, do it for this one.
It's the same with any series. When you start going into time travel, everything gets all fucked up and you don't do it. That's why you don't do time travel.
I would say that the plot for 13-2, I felt when I was playing it, now I've forgotten everything already. I felt when I was playing it that it was less convoluted than 13.
I did too, yeah.
Oh yeah, it is, but the whole world together, and I'm really
still
excited.
Convoluted.
I'm telling you right now, I'm saving Lightning Returns for the same reason I was saving 12. Is like I know that there's one disc with all of the Lightning stories on it, and that's when I'll play Lightning Returns.
It's called Steam.
Yeah, I know.
Your disc, your CD-ROM drive or whatever. Not CD-ROM, your fucking hard drive.
Yeah, digital download on Steam. I don't bother with CD-ROMs. Are you kidding me?
Well, that's what he was saying.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I was meaning your drive.
But no, I'm excited to close that story. But I love the world that they've created. I think the gameplay is. If I'm going pure gameplay, that's climbing the list like crazy because that is a very fluid, fast system. And I think it improves on even 12. It improves on all of the others before it. And it's so quick. And I love what do they call it in that one? It's the where you make the three.
The paradigms.
Yeah, the paradigm shift system.
Yeah,
I thought
it's like a watered down version of the Gambits in 12. It's like more manageable, micromanage Gambits. And you can less micromanaging.
It's so fast.
Yeah. It's great. No, it's a lot of fun. Like that's the thing. Like 13 for me is lower on the list, but if I were to make a list of the best gameplay, it would probably be number 2.
We have done an episode where we talked about gameplay.
If I were to do it even now, though, it would be now it would be number 3, but because of 13-2.
13-2, yeah.
Lightning Returns so far, I don't know. It's weird, but I would only put 12 above it because I love the random encounters, and I don't know. I just love the way that one's made, but it's. This story knocks it down for me, but I don't know.
I mean, and like you said, it's like we're criticizing the smallest things out of the best movies of the year.
Yeah.
Hard to do that. I mean, the 13 is a great game, and I don't think anyone would be, wrong to say that they enjoyed that game. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I just think the story's a little weird for that whole combined universe. Because of the time travel element, because of just that the story is presented in the way that it is in the first entry of the series. There's so much text to understand LC, FALC. Like it just gets crazy. It's too much. Yeah. But I think if you get it, it's probably a very rewarding experience.
Okay, what's after 13, Banedrom?
Number 9 is Final Fantasy 11, and number 10 is 14. And I put them next to each other, not just because they're both MMOs, but because I think that the story in 11 and the gameplay of 14, if they were to somehow combine, it would be a nigh unstoppable Final Fantasy. Like if they were to if they somehow went in and in this alleged iOS version of Final Fantasy 11 that they're going to do, this mobile version, if they somehow changed the job system so it was more fluid and they sped up the clunkiness, and I think it's a serious contender.
I would like that. I think that It would be nice for those who are afraid to get on the big, scary FF11, which I would say that it is a big, scary FF11.
Yeah.
To have like a smaller version that you could say, I played FF11.
Yeah.
That would
played
be nice.
through the campaign.
I will say I wear that badge proud, dude. We did it. We did 11, and we did it. I mean, yes, we had, what was the website? Alakazam. I used Alakazam a lot. What was the one you used? Final Fantasy Wiki?
Yeah. FF11 Cyclopedia.
I used that
like
one
that.
and then the 11 wiki. The encyclopedia one was great, though.
We did the unwatered down version of the game. I mean, you guys did it even above and beyond. You went all the way with it. I couldn't handle it. It destroyed my soul. I succumbed to the beast. I
You
collapsed.
became the beast that you once mastered.
I fell to my knees and I told you guys, just fucking go on. I can't fucking do this anymore. Go. Finish this.
Crinitol made it to the end.
Yeah. As it's like it's like that one episode of Game of Thrones where all the zombie they kill that whole village of people, and then the White Walker guy comes up, and that's Crinitol. Banedrom falls down dead, and then he just raises all the corpses and helps us beat the game.
I show up as a trust. There's no Beastmaster trusts, but I'll be in there. They made one for me.
That would be sweet. It would be sweet.
Yeah.
A Banedrom trust.
14 is good. Again, I think the gameplay in 14 it's a damn near perfect MMO experience. I think the story is really long in that one. Like, you're digging in for a year playing Final Fantasy 14. If you're going start to finish, Heavensward, guys, fucking good luck. I did Heavensward. I'm done. I'm going to probably try Stormblood. But that Heavensward is as long as all of it plus more. That shit takes so long.
Oh, Banedrom, don't say things like that.
I'm just warning you. I'm giving you a fair warning, because everyone who's telling you, yeah, you guys will have fun with Heavensward. Yes, it is fun, but it is grueling. Some of the sizes of some of those worlds, some of those zones are just intimidatingly huge until you can fly. It gets easier, but good God, it takes so long to do that stuff.
I personally believe I can fly, but
Yeah.
Banedrom, how many hours were you talking? I'm scared.
So I stopped. I finished Heavensward, got through the whole story, and then most of the side quest, and started working on other classes at that point. And I think I'm 32 days on Final Fantasy 14. But that's nothing. Are you kidding me? You know damn well there are people that are easily close to 100 days, maybe even more.
We know him.
Yeah.
What is Judge Gabranth?
Yeah.
Dude, he's got like a year in game, maybe even more, doesn't he? Like, it's sick.
We helped create a monster with.
I'm gonna drop a Gabranth original, dude. It's filthy what that guy can do. It's filthy.
I miss hanging out with those guys. You better come back for that fucking Stormblood, man. We're gonna be there.
I will. Are you kidding me? Like, I still have it installed.
Unless, of course, Heavensward does take 6 months, and then you might actually beat Stormblood before we get to the fucker. Who knows?
Is that the plan? Are you guys going straight from Heavensward into Stormblood?
It depends on how long Heavensward takes us. We have Lightning Returns, which I'm the only one who started, and I've only played it one day. And then after that we've got 14. So I mean, what is it, like June something for Stormblood? June.
It's late
15th,
June, right? I think 20 something.
Yeah, it's somewhere around there, late June. And if we don't get through Heavensward in 3 months, there's a fucking problem. or 2 months. That's crazy.
I think you're going to have a lack of support. There's a huge amount of the community that plays that game right now.
All right, that's fair. But they're all ahead of us, though.
I'm not even an active player, and I'll jump in if you guys need me to, but there are so many people, because you also know, I mean, I talk about it in every episode. I'm a teacher. I'm an educator. I get summers off. That would be the perfect time for me to play with you guys. We sit around all day. I'll stay up till 4 a.m. playing video games again.
That's true. That's good times. That's only 2 for us, so I could do it.
Number 11 on my list, and this is where it takes a drop, and this might be the most controversial. There's a Final Fantasy I haven't mentioned yet because it's so low on my list because I don't like it. Judge Gabranth, I'm calling it out. Final Fantasy 4.
Oh, wow. That is really low for 4. Okay.
Now, I will tell you this right now. When I first played 4, it was on a ROM, and I loaded it up, and I thought, this is Final Fantasy 4? This game fucking sucks. What is this bullshit? I thought that I had gotten a tampered with copy because it was I enjoyed it so little. As like I just wasn't a fan from the very get-go. I remember even going and getting Titan is like kind of the first real big event that I remember from that game. And like all of it before that, I barely remember. And I get so many people are like obsessed with Cecil's arc, and I'll admit that's a deep for an SNES game. It's deep like that's some serious shit. But I'm just not a fan. I'm just not a fan of it. I do like that they stuck. That was like the last game. Oh no, because 6 had pretty much fixed classes with their characters.
Yeah,
but they in 4 they were even more defined. Like you had the Dark Knight. And he was the Dark Knight. And yes, he switched to Paladin later. But once he became Paladin, there was no crossover. You weren't doing Dark Knight stuff anymore.
Right.
It was all Paladin.
It didn't become like late game Final Fantasies nowadays where everyone's the same character, essentially.
Yeah,
it's like,
you get everything
to
to everyone. No, I like those limitations. And for that reason, 4 comes above the other 3. But I just never connected with the characters. I was older when I played it too. I think I was probably already 30 by the time I played 4 for the first time. No. I mean, I had tried it back then when I was on playing ROMs, but I got the PSP version, the complete.
Oh.
And that's what I played through completion. And it's the best way to play that game, I think. I don't think that the DS version is very good. I wouldn't want to play that one just because I think that those distorted bodies just look bizarre.
Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate the old look, and that's why I like the PSP version, because it retains the old feel. It just updates the graphics slightly so that there's less pixelation. But I did think that's the best version to play. I just, again, this is my own personal list. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm saying I personally don't like Final Fantasy IV.
That's fair.
That is surprising. I didn't even think about how low 4 was.
Yeah, I was like, which one's missing? That's one of the ones that tends to be some people's favorites, but I think it's all a time game. Like where you started is really generally around when your favorite's going to be.
Usually, I would agree. And I know there's people that we've talked to through Final Fantasy 14 and 11 that just love that game so much and actually hate on 8 so much. It's like a classic combat, but it's just not my favorite game. I mean, it's a fun game. It's a Final Fantasy, so in that regard, it's worth playing. But it's just, I played it my one time, and I'll play every game that I just listed for a third or fourth time before I go back to that one for a second.
Damn, even 11?
Yeah, I would play 11.
Oh, God. I'll do 2 weeks again to do 11.
If I suffered a spinal injury and was paraplegic and could not use a keyboard and only use a PSP because I could only move my thumbs, I would play every game available on there before I would play 4.
Jesus.
Wow. Okay.
That's how much my distaste for 4 goes.
You got that Rock Band Unplugged on the PSP. You're just hitting the fucking keys.
There's people that are like, oh, this Banedrom guy sounds pretty cool. They're about to hit follow. They're about to hit check me out. And then they hear this and they're like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, now you're just going to get a bunch of tweets like, hey, fuck you.
No, they were gone with the Princess Bride conversation already.
Yeah, that's I may be the most hated, interesting person in the world. I don't know.
There you go. Okay.
Number 12, 13, and 14. This is my order. Let's just do it like a Band-Aid again. 1, 3, and then 2. There's no real surprise there. I think that's pretty... 1, I did almost consider putting 1 above 4, but even I didn't do that. I like 1 is pure nostalgia. The gameplay is rough, and it's so unforgiving. But it's the OG. It's the original. I mean, there's something really fun about that game, but...
That's fair. That's totally fair.
3 is not a fun game, and 2, let's just not go there.
I don't know. I thought 2, because it was more story driven, I was more into it, but
story.
That's just it's more story driven. It's not like there's lots of story. It's not like it's very good story. It just there is a story, and then 1 was like there's a bridge and a Garland dude. Go kill him.
Yeah,
figure it out.
That's fair. And it's weird because 2 is kind of a game that you can almost rip the game off, kind of like you can with 8, where you just get the draw points and you're like, all right, well, let's just cruise through these boss battles, no encounter, and the next time I get to a boss that kills me, I'll just go around and collect some more magic until I can slaughter him. 2 is kind of that way too. It's like, all right, well,
you just beat yourself up all the time, level up your stats.
Yeah, you just fucking It's crazy. So
Okay, so are we going to play Stump the Host?
yeah, dude, we can't have an episode invite without playing Stump the Host. That's just fucking wrong.
Are you ready, Banedrom?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
I hope you've been doing your homework, because the first one is yours, Banedrom.
Okay, I'm going to get annihilated. I'm terrible at trivia for this, but let's do it. I have some trivia of my own when you guys are done, too, by the way.
Yeah, I remember you messaging me. I'm excited for that. I'd love...
It's for both of you guys, too. I think it'll be, I don't know how we'll do that, but... All right, what do we got? Let's hear it.
The character Genesis from Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII is based off of what famous Japanese pop rock idol? You can do his first and last name or just last name.
All right, so from Crisis Core, a game that I played for like an hour and a half.
Yes.
No, I vaguely remember Crisis Core. I don't even know any Japanese pop rock idols.
What?
What's the one? There's like some crazy one I see because of my Evangelion podcast. I have like so many people that follow crazy stuff on Twitter from there. I don't know. I couldn't even name one Japanese pop rock star. Couldn't even name one. And I'm not even going to be offensive and try and make up a Japanese game or Japanese name.
Well, you could try. I mean, you could just make like it is kind of like a random noise is his name. It's like a choking sound. That's what his last name is. And that's, yeah.
Okay.
I don't even have a guess. Choking noise would be, is it like an onomatopoeia? You have like, how do you name a choking noise?
you just
gasp.
Oh, you're close.
Fuck.
Close. Very close. All right, Joe. What do you got?
What? He was close on gasp?
Yeah. It has a similar start, yes. Character Genesis, based off of what famous, quote unquote, Japanese pop rock idol.
Dude, fuck My Chemical Romance. I have no
No, his name is Kamui Gact.
Gact.
Gact. So gasp was, or whatever he said first, was pretty close.
Oh my god, I remember Gact now.
Yeah, we talked about it in the review.
There was no way I was going to be able to answer that one either.
All right, well, now second question goes to Joe first.
There we go. All right.
What is the name of the optional mega boss in Final Fantasy IX?
Supernova?
Nope.
Oh, shit. Fuck, what is it?
I don't know, Banedrom. What is the super boss in Final Fantasy IX?
Oh my god, it's like the planet thing, right?
It's like a giant egg looking guy.
Hold on. Fuck me. I didn't do it on my one when I played the iOS version either, because I was like, there's no way I have the time for that.
Neither did I.
I remember what it looks like because it's just a giant orb.
It's a giant rainbow thing.
Yeah, and it's not happening for my save file. Couldn't do it.
Oh, shit.
Is it Ozma?
It is.
Okay.
Ozma. Good job. That's
right here. I'm told. Oh my god! I can't believe I got that. It's like I was thinking. I'm like, what am I thinking? Fucking Return to Oz? What the hell is this? Yeah, Ozma. All right, good. Yeah. I'm glad. That was really a stretch. Like that was pulling back to the original playthrough in the late '90s to get that one. Good job from me. I guess. High five.
I don't know where I got Supernova from.
Well, that's one of the attacks from the last guy.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's it.
I think anyway. I think Supernova was one from 9. All right, this one goes to Banedrom. What race is Bagamnon from Final Fantasy 12? What is the name of his race?
Man, you fucks. I haven't played Final Fantasy 12 first playthrough. It is not one that I've replayed. I don't know any of the races in Final Fantasy 12. I will say, I remember that game, that opening cutscene, seeing all the different kind of humanoid creatures walking around in the market and thinking, that's a lot of diversity.
Yeah. Good on you, Square.
I don't know. I can't even remember the names of the towns in fucking 12. Like to even have like a name of a human from that area.
All right.
I have no clue. Pass it to Joe.
All right, Joe.
Honestly, I think you've asked this question before on this segment, and I still don't have an answer.
I might have.
I don't remember the name of this race.
All right. You want one more chance, Benjamin, or are you just going to just call it?
No, I have no idea. I have nothing to even grasp onto.
All right. He is a Benga, is the race of Bagamnon the lizard.
Benga.
Yeah.
With a V or a B?
A B, Benga.
Oh. Yeah, but I could have guessed 75 million words before I would have guessed that one.
I could have died guessing on this segment.
Yeah.
All right, we're passing it to Joe. For
It's like that Chris Farley sketch where he's in Japan doing the game show, and he just randomly throws a bunch of syllables together and happens to guess it one syllable wrong.
Nice, yeah. All right, here's another FF12 one. I made it a little 12 heavy today due to the soon-to-be-released HD remaster. How old?
Oh, not to just a fuck me, right?
No.
No, okay.
I mean, partially. But
Okay.
how old is Balthier during the events of Final Fantasy 12?
29.
No.
What? Well, okay, Banedrom.
Balthier, 34.
No.
We can just go numerically.
I know,
It's just
he's
up and down. Are you going down? I'll go up. I don't know.
24.
Oh, so close. 22.
Oh!
When I was
22? How old is Van
bullshit,
then?
isn't it?
Van is 17, I think, in that game.
How old is Fran?
We don't know. She's super old. She's like ancient. 50.
22? Yeah, I would have not guessed. I would have guessed older than younger.
There's a lot of
Never got-
characters in the Final Fantasy series where I'm like, their official age that Square puts out is like way too young.
Yeah, Balthier does seem like he'd be like 27 or 28 at least. I guess 24 because I'm like, okay, they're always super young, and I'm pretty sure he's 24. And then I checked in my guide, and I was like, 22, whatever. We'll go with it. So
I would think like mid 30s for Balthier. He's like if he's leading man material, it's mid 30s.
That's fair.
That's
Been
the
around the
Hollywood,
block a couple
thing.
times.
Yeah,
I guess that's fair.
that's way too young.
It's weird. It's weird because I don't understand why they do the young characters so much. Like he doesn't have a young man's personality
or
This is
look.
him.
Wait till you guys play Worlds of Final Fantasy. They just put him in there.
Yeah, we saw. we saw. All right,
We're ready.
last question for Banedrom here. If you can get this, close the game out. If not, and Joe gets it, I'll have to come up with a question number 6, a tiebreaker.
God, here we
What
go.
is the name of the recurring Albed salesman, shop owner, and entrepreneur in Final Fantasy X? It's a 3-letter word, and I love to impersonate the guy all the time. Yo, Patreon.
I played 10-2 this weekend, or not this weekend, this year. I played it this year.
He's in it. Albed.
Fuck.
Your patronage.
Yeah, thank you for your patronage. I did this.
Is he played by Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I have no clue. I can't. I know it's a short 1-syllable word, and I have no idea what it is. The only Albed that I know is fucking brother, right?
Yeah, or
That's the
Riku.
only one I even know. Or yeah, well, Riku, yeah, but brother is just such a character. I don't know.
Or Yuna, but yeah.
I remember his voice though. Yeah, the thank you for your patron is bullshit that I had to hear 75,000 times. Nope, I have no idea.
All right, Joe, what you got?
Yin.
Not Yin.
Oh,
Very close, though. Banedrom, you got one more chance, and Yin was close.
Yin was close, and see that's not even enough to jog my memory.
God damn it.
Is it the fucking vowel that's wrong? And let's do. Can I get a fucking vowel over here?
The last 2 letters are right. We'll just say that. It wasn't Yin, but the last 2, the IN, stays.
I'm going through all the letters of the alphabet right now.
Trying to decide which one looks best.
Is it Sin himself? Sin himself, the giant monster.
Very close.
That's it. No, I'm not even going to try and sit here and go through the alphabet and cheat. I don't know it, so I'm not going to sit here and say I know it.
Din.
No.
Din.
It's Rin. You were one letter off with Sin.
Rin?
Yeah, Rin is his
Din
name.
with an R.
Yeah. All right, well,
Damn
Banedrom,
it.
you have won
Banedrom
the
won.
Stump the Host.
All right.
I think we should do like some sort of reward for these, don't you think?
No, I'm sick of giving rewards for people.
You know what?
It takes so much time
Your all
outside
your
of
podcasts too. I've got Godzilla, check. Nude Clan, check. Final Fantasy, check. What else you guys want to throw my way? I got some DVDs. I got my Mario Brothers right here.
You know what? I was gonna watch your freaking movies that you gave me like forever ago.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Before this interview, and then I forgot.
Dude, they're weird movies.
I'm excited to watch them. I'm sure I'll like them just as much as you like Princess Bride.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll give you a Final Fantasy game that I've completed. What do you have?
You know what? I still have what is it? The Final Fantasy Tactics one in the package. I never even opened that shit.
Oh, jeez.
Damn, dude. Nice.
Yeah.
Is that PS1 Tactics?
No. It's
No. The 3D or DS. Not even a 3DS one.
The
It's
Tactics. The Tactics Advance 2 that we sent. Because we
all right.
bought multiple.
That's right.
Like chumps.
Right. Okay. All right. So
I have some questions for you guys, actually.
All right. Can we talk about podcasting real quick?
What do you want to do first? Do you want to wrap up Final Fantasy and then go
Oh,
podcast?
okay. Yeah, let's wrap up.
I mean,
I didn't know your questions were they were going to be Final Fantasy. Or what the hell
they're
they were
fine.
going to be.
It's Stump the Hosts.
Nice. Nice.
All right. We've done this once
There
before.
are 5 of them, and I'll give you guys even the team advantage. You can answer them as a team.
Answer them as a team.
If one of you knows the answer, I'll be satisfied.
Okay.
They're open-ended questions. Well, no, they're not. They have one answer, so that's not an open-ended question at all. All right, number 1. Final Fantasy VII, and I have to use this one because I have a whole podcast about it, has a Neon Genesis Evangelion reference. Have either of you encountered it? And if you did, well, Joe, I guess, would be the only one that could even remotely get close to this one. And I don't know if you've played this game as thoroughly enough as possible to even find this reference. Do either of you even know of the Final Fantasy or the Evangelion reference in Final Fantasy VII?
If it's not Genesis, then no.
Nope.
Probably have Tree of Sephiroth somehow.
No, it's actually not.
Okay.
In the Gold Saucer, you can click on items in that museum and kind of get little descriptions. There is a suit that appears to be an underwater diving suit, and it is labeled D-type equipment, which is used directly from Neon Genesis Evangelion in the Magma Diver episode. It is called the D-type equipment. Unit 2 gets into a volcano with the D-type equipment, which looks pretty much identical to that suit in Final Fantasy VII.
That's a spot the Evangelion.
Yeah, that's a segment.
Spot the Evangelion, definitely.
That's
Did you ever watch Evangelion? Did you ever get through the show?
I
Twice?
did not. No, I haven't touched it.
No, the DVDs are still behind him right over there.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
just waiting for me.
All right, that one I'll admit is probably the hardest question because if you don't know it, that there's no way you could ever possibly know it. So these you could actually.
I know there's a Sephiroth in both of them.
Yeah.
That's all
All
I
right.
know.
Question 2 of 5. So I played a summoner in Final Fantasy 14. I had to throw a summoner type question in here, and I love Final Fantasy 8. Can you name 5 summons that are exclusive to Final Fantasy 8?
The brothers.
And they have to be equipable GFs. They can't be like Cactuar or shit like that.
The GF are the brothers. Those are.
Yep.
The brothers, Diablos.
Oh, easy. Oh, I thought he was in.
No, he's not a summon. So, like, okay, they all kind of appear in other games, though, because Diablos is in 11 and 14, but he's not a summon.
Oh, yeah, he's just a character. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I get you.
Doom Train.
Yep.
Quetzalcoatl.
Quetzalcoatl's really one?
Yeah,
He's an exclusive summon to that game. Yeah.
he's a boss in 15, and he might be in a couple others as just throwaway enemy, but
Shit. What would the other one be? I'm trying to think of.
There's actually 2 more that you could choose from.
2 more, huh?
Shit. SGFs. This is tough. I'm trying to think like of ones that are in there that aren't in the others. That's
Yeah. So what do we have so far? We've got Quetzalcoatl.
Brothers, Doom Train, Quetzalcoatl, and Diablos is what you've said so far.
And there's 2 more possible choices.
Is Odin twice? I'm asking you, and I'm not giving this as a guess.
That's fine. That's fine.
Is Odin
It's a team challenge, so you guys can work together.
a summon in any of the other games?
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I remember there was... Cypher, like, cuts Odin in half, and then he becomes something else. Am I crazy?
No.
Yeah, I think he becomes Gilgamesh, right?
Yeah. But Odin is lightning summon.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, isn't Odin in 6? Can't you summon Odin in 6?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I
Can't remember.
I don't
Summons
know.
in 6 right now.
It's been a while.
Shit.
Fuck, dude. What else is in 8? Let's run through Shiva.
It's been a while since 8. 2 years, probably?
It's hard.
Yeah. It's been a few years. I don't know. I don't think the Master Tonberry was a summon. I remember
I'll give you a hint. Tonberry is a summon, but it's not one of the equipable like main summons. Like Cactuar, Moomba, Mog, Tonberry. Those are all summons in the game, but they're not the equipable ones.
Okay, so you can't throw it on.
No, they're not.
Cerberus.
There it is. Yep.
Cerberus.
One that is so damn unique. Eden.
Oh, fuck. You're right. Eden is probably the most unique.
Yes, exactly. And I'm sitting here looking. I cannot believe you guys don't remember that because it has the longest animation that you can max out every fucking time. Yeah, Cerberus is the other one, and I think I left out the list. Pandora, I think, is one that's also a summon in that game, and it shows up in 11, but you can't actually summon it. It's not one of the summoner abilities in 11.
All right, fair.
All right, got it. Good job.
Okay.
Number 3. This is pretty specific. Again, you guys are going to hate me because I love Final Fantasy VIII. What blue magic can Quistis learn from dark matter?
From dark matter?
Yep.
So that means her ult. Which one's the big one? I only remember the blue lasers.
I remember Missile Barrage, but I don't think that's old.
Missile Barrage?
Yeah. I'm fucked on this one.
I can't get it either, man.
It is actually Griever's ultimate attack as well as Shockwave Pulsar.
Oh, okay.
It is, you're right, it is her ult. It's her ultimate. It's the only one that can break her damage barrier in that game.
Okay.
Nice. Very nice.
Number 4. This one's story driven, so you may get it, Joe. Who is the only character that Squall does not remember from the orphanage?
Irvine.
Yup.
Yeah,
He blames it on the GF memory loss thing. Yeah, he does not remember Irvine.
Damn straight. Plays
All right,
the game
last
a
one.
few times.
Last one. It's specific. You'll either know it or you won't. One of my personal favorite characters. What is Seifer's limit break called?
Shit, dude. I can see him doing it in my mind. I can see him hitting with the limit break.
Fuck. Like night something. I can't get it.
Yeah, I don't even want to try to guess.
Based slightly on his iconography, Firecross.
Firecross. No, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Not bad for a game that you guys don't really care for too much.
Hey now.
Not bad.
Hey now.
No, that was some really specific shit, to be honest.
That is really specific shit.
I think the only fairest question would probably be the summons, because I think everyone at least knows the main Doom Train for sure. Cerberus is another one that I remember personally because of his summon is awesome. It's like a Howling at the Moon thing. But
yeah, it's also
no. You guys did admirably, considering that is the most specific questions. At least I was fair, not asking questions of other cultures and their music. So
yeah. Hey, you got 1 out of 5, and we got 1 out of 5, right?
No, you got 2 of them. You got Irvine, you got the summons.
Got it. Okay, we got 2 out of 5.
Sweet.
Yep. So is that it for quizzes?
That's it for quizzes. That's it for Final Fantasy. You guys wanted other stuff?
Yeah, real quick. So you got to tell us how you got into podcasting. That's what you got to do, and then you got to tell us about your podcast.
I got into podcasting because you guys took a collective squat and shout out Banedrom, the podcaster. You birthed me.
That's right.
Honestly, being on your show and being part of the whole process, like, put the bug in me. And like, there was that, like, I'm a teacher, so I have summers off. And as a teacher, you're so busy 9 months of the year. And then those last 3 months, you're just looking for something to do. You don't know what to do with your time. And last summer, I was rewatching Neon Genesis Evangelion. I was like, man, I fucking love this show. I've tried to talk to so many people about it. Like, I've heard so many really cool stories about it, and I've got a lot like that I projected into it from my own personal life. Like, I'm just going to do this thing. I'm just going to make a show about it. And at the same time, while I was planning that, I was like talking to my best friend, Annie, and I was like, you know, I remember presenting this to her because we're exes, the two of us, and we've remained in contact. We're like really good friends. And I went to her and I was like, are you comfortable enough yet to kind of publicly admit that we're exes and we kind of bicker a lot? And she's like, yeah, why? And I was like, I kind of want to do a podcast with you. And she's like, all right, let's do it. So in 1 month's time, I got like 4 episodes recorded of Evangelion and 2 or 3 episodes of Cinema Throwdown recorded, set up all the social media, set up all the accounts, and started releasing them as just kind of a project to see what I could do with it. Because, again, being on your show made me enjoy the recording process. And I feel like there's a lot to be said about a lot of things, and people want to hear about those things, strangely enough.
What's funny to me is that hearing you say that it comes from our show. Our show is a really loose format show. Our show is just come here and talk, and no matter how stupid or embarrassing, I mean, up to a certain point, we're not going to cut, and we're just going to keep going. But you heavily plan.
I heavily plan Evangelion. I really do. Evangelion was damn near scripted, because it's a commentary, first of all, so I have to sync the audio. Second of all, it's just me. I recorded 26 episodes by myself, and I don't think either of you have had to do that, right? Like, there hasn't been a time, like, if one of you was gone, it would just be like a pre-recorded release, right?
Usually, yeah. There's been sections of shows that each of us have done solo, but not. And
honestly, tell me what that's like for you, because for me, it's fucking nerve-wracking.
It's irritating because, like, if you fuck up a little bit, there's no, like, banter. You just have to restart. Yeah. So I'm like, hey, before we start today's episode, fuck.
Imagine that, but then add on top of it, you have to sync up with audio from another source.
That would be tough. I'll admit, when you were doing Neon Genesis, I was like, fuck, this is like Freakonomics type, really planned out and really like well-crafted shit. I would never be able to do that. I can ramble, though, for an hour by myself, so I'm not in the same camp as you guys, but I don't... Doing those commentaries on Evangelion, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean... Talking for an hour is fine, but it's got to be something people want to listen to, and it's got to do this.
Well, I can't guarantee that.
It's got to do the series justice. I mean, this is something that he obviously loves to the point of going through these extraneous measures to do content.
It is, and you're absolutely right. You nailed it. Like, there's something about that show that just appeals to me so much, and with my background in, like, I have a background in psychology, and I've done a lot of research about philosophy on my own just to kind of become more knowledgeable about the world, to apply that to Evangelion and really put some ideas out there. I really did it for the fans, because I've had these thoughts for so long, and I know I'm not the only one, and to get them out there was what I wanted to do. And that's kind of like my first little baby. That's my firstborn. It's out there in the world right now. It's pretty much done. I'm going to do the end of Evangelion eventually, and that's a finished podcast as far as I'm concerned. I might update periodically with random one-offs or interviews or things like that, but that's out there for the world now. And I've actually gotten twice as many downloads since the show has been over than I did while I was recording. It's taken off. I had and whatever, because I'm small time. I'm not setting up a network yet. I'm saying yet. I'm not setting up a network yet. And then when I do, Evangelion's not going in there. I will say right now, there are days that I still get 1,000 downloads on a day on a show that's done. A show that's over. People are just still finding the show. And it blows my mind, because that's something that's now far enough removed. My last episode I recorded during Christmas break, so it was like January. It's 4 months later, and new people are still emailing me saying, hey, I just found your show. Dude, it's amazing what you're saying. I've never thought of some of these things. They make sense. That's why I did it. I did it to get some ideas out there. I didn't do it for popularity. I didn't do it so people would know me. On that show, I have actually never revealed my Banedrom identity. I don't think people could connect me. I don't think anyways, because I didn't do it for me. I did it for the fans of Evangelion. I did it for Anno because the guy, Hideaki Anno, is a fucking genius as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I'm definitely doing this for mostly me. I mean, it was that's what it started out as, so that we could play the series. But it certainly has, for us, it's evolved into something more. So that's awesome that you, from the get-go, decided that was going to be your approach for Evangelion. I didn't even know you've never even revealed who you are.
Not on Evangelion, because on Cinema Threw It On, which is kind of like my cash show, that's more like your show, where I can literally hit record, talk with a really good friend about a movie for about an hour and a half, and then hit done and just go through for random, like maybe my cat meowed or some shit. But for the most part, that's unedited. I really don't edit that show. What I say, I put my foot in my mouth constantly in that show. But I get to talk about awesome movies and sometimes not so awesome movies. That's easy to do. That's an easy show. That's a very stress-free show for me. Evangelion was giving me like actual anxiety. Like, it was really hard to go through that much effort.
Don't you have a third show? Am I crazy?
You are not crazy.
Okay.
It is what I consider to be my magnum opus.
Oh, well, should have told me to listen to it, because I totally didn't.
Yeah, actually, Schweiss found it the other day. I got a little follow the other day from him.
Honored. I am very stingy with my follows on Twitter.
I am too.
No, I'll take it. I am honored. That's fine. I have a show called Test Pattern, and it's what I envisioned when I thought of podcasting. It is a show that I do with a very good friend of mine, Tab. We get together, and it started out, I think, as just a reason for two horror geeks to talk about horror stuff. We wanted to talk about horror movies and sci-fi movies and kind of just off the wall movies, but it has already progressed to be so much more than that. We basically take, I say it this way, it's not really what it is. We take a highbrow approach to horror movies. We look at themes within them, pull some movies together, and really talk about not only what they did for the horror community, but why they're relevant. We have episodes on the gamut. I mean, we did an episode on the Canon Media Group that released all those really bad movies in the 80s. That we teamed up with Masters of the Universe. That was one of our early episodes. We just recorded an episode, it's not going to come out for a while, about They Live and the Stuff, and how consumerism was so heavily kind of criticized in the horror community in the 1980s, and how relevant that is today. But we also do stuff for fun. We're doing a Bigfoot episode because I fucking love Bigfoot. I think it's awesome. That is the show that I think, like, I am the most myself. I'm able to really just be Jacob for who he is. That's it. The name's dropped. Banedrom, the man behind the curtain. It's so liberating to just be myself and talk about all the horror movies that I love, because it's what I enjoy. There's a lot of big, exciting things. I think, I'm going to drop this. I might regret it later. There's a documentary being made about the scary stories that tell in the dark books.
Oh, nice.
I contacted the documentarians, and we were going to do an interview with them. There's some seriously big stuff coming from that show, and that's the show to watch if you liked listening to my rantings during this ridiculously long interview. It's already way longer than I thought it was going to
be. Don't worry about it.
It's your time, man. It's your time.
It's a good show to check out. We have about 20 episodes out right now. It's a weekly show, so we've put a lot into it, and I'm really, really proud of it. It's called Test Pattern with Jacob and Tab. We're on iTunes, Google, Stitcher, everywhere the podcasts are. We have a website. We have social media, Test Pattern Show on Twitter. We're on Tumblr. We're everywhere. I guess I should say the other shows too. If you want to see if you want to listen to the Evangelion podcast, it's called Neon Genesis Evangelion, a commentary. That's also kind of intellectual and dry. I don't know, Joe, how would you describe Evangelion?
It's very well put together. That's what I would say. And it's one person talking, and I don't know. I dug it.
I get it. It's an acquired taste. It is just me talking.
I wouldn't say it's an acquired taste, Banedrom. I would actually say that it's like default podcast taste for the masses.
Right.
And that honestly, it takes like a person who's really into podcasts to listen to people ramble for 2 hours, which is what people listen to our show for.
Yeah.
So I when I think of like mainstream podcasts, I think of like Freakonomics or Serial, and those I would say that's the Neon Genesis Serial.
Although at the same time, the largest podcast ever is Adam Carolla's show, and that is a loose motherfucker.
Oh yeah,
that is.
So, like, you got a little.
Mark Maron is also really loose. But yeah,
I cannot believe that I just heard that it's the Evangelion serial. That's fucking flattering as a motherfucker right there.
It's that well put together, and I'm that impressed by it. I enjoy listening to Cinema Throwdown though, and I enjoy listening to you guys. Diss on Twister for 2 hours, and then
Bill Paxton. Oh my god!
And Bill Paxton dies a day later, and I'm like, this can't be coincidence.
Yeah, you guys killed him. What the fuck?
I texted her and I was like, dude, we just did the worst fucking thing in the world. Bill Paxton's fucking dead, and I just criticized him for like an hour and a half.
This guy
day before his death.
This fucking guy.
I redeemed myself with Test Pattern because we went and did a Frailty episode that, in my opinion, one of our best episodes we've ever done.
I've never seen Frailty, but didn't he direct that?
He directed that. It was his directorial debut, and he's in it as well as a character that I think it's one of his best acting roles that he's ever done.
So he needs to direct himself is what needed to happen.
Well, he's dead now.
Well, I know he's dead, but needed to direct himself.
Sound is more of a I don't know. It's a very standard movie retrospective where we just talk about what we thought of movies. The gimmick is that we're exes, me and my co-host Annie, and we just put each other through the ringer and just try and find the worst movies to make each other watch. Our inaugural episode is fucking The Notebook. So
jeez.
I had to suffer through that bullshit, but I threw RoboCop right back in her face.
Oh, RoboCop's a good movie, though.
So we go back and forth. So we do it. That's a bi-weekly. So once a month you're getting a Jacob episode. Once a month you're getting an Annie episode. I have to watch fucking Bridesmaids this week.
Hey, that's not that bad of a movie. Have you seen it before?
No, I have not. I have not seen it.
It's not that bad.
I like Paul Feig. I do. I don't mind Paul Feig at all. He's a little quirky, but I like his movies and shows.
It's a lot of funny women comedians, and it's like a Judd Apatow movie with all women in it. It's not bad. In my opinion.
This pattern is, like I said, it's almost a hybrid between like a standard horror movie podcast where they're just kind of ripping on things, but we also try to bring in our own unique opinions. And I'm not saying that I'm the smartest man in the world, but we're both intelligent people,
smart, yeah.
And we have a lot of insight into these movies, and we're also lifelong horror fan. So we have just a wealth of stories and experiences and background knowledge about any horror movie that you could think of. So
nice.
It's been a really fun ride, and that's the one that I see enduring the test of time. Test Pattern, there is no end in sight for that show. I love it. In fact, like right now, Tab's here right behind me just listening to me talk to you guys one way because she can't hear what you're saying. So for an hour and 40 minutes, she's just been sitting here. We're going to record our Kong movie review.
Sweet.
We do have a 3-part Kong retrospective where we went over the 33, the 76, and the 2005 Kong. So,
that's awesome. I'll check that out.
I'll have to watch them and then check it out.
I figured it'd be right up your alley, man. I thought you were. Drew's all about it, man. He's retweeting us like bonkers.
Yeah, Drew is a retweeter. That's
he's also a tagger.
Yes.
It's like, fuck. I'm like, geez, I got 7 notifications. Like, Drew Daybell tagged you and Joe in a post. Drew Daybell. I'm like, fuck, dude, thanks. But, like, light me up.
Yeah, he's good with the social media.
Yeah.
Can we say that this is your 4th show, Test Pattern? Because I remember a show pre-Evangelion.
You're absolutely right. Gammon Stark, man, I'm fucking sorry. I love you, dude. Gammon Stark and I had a podcast. We did. You're right. And it was a great show.
I listened to every episode, Banedrom. Every episode.
I remember, you know what? I'm not going to lie. Well, you're absolutely right. That I totally just glossed over that whole part. That is the origin. You're right. That was my first show. That was me literally sitting down with a laptop and a fucking $15 mic and just doing something with it. And that feedback I got from you about an episode that I did with a very good friend of mine, that you said is the best thing that we put out. That's really what gave me the push to really try and do something on my own.
Well, to me, it was like that was the most like emotionally, like it felt like a real conversation.
Yeah,
not that the other ones weren't.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I understand.
But
that was a friend of mine that I've known for 15 years. I mean, that was him telling his story. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And I still have those audio files. Gammon, I'm going to contact you, man. I want to see if we can put those back out.
Yeah.
They're not available right now, but I have all the audio. I could put those all back out there. I feel like
if you're ever thinking about doing a network, I would put them all on YouTube and just like we did with our Shogun review for the Pseudo Intellectuals book club. We have it on our website if people want to check it out. If people are into us enough to go check out the weird other show that we tried and failed, I mean, it's there.
I was waiting for that. I was down.
Playing the home game was like a getting fat 2.0. I would say.
It was. And we gave you guys all the credit. We took what you guys started with getting fat and just took it to the next level.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's like a real personal kind of show, and maybe the audience wouldn't be
putting
that
ourselves
wide.
out there every week.
But I think something about getting fat that always kept it small was that it was always so much about me and Kaleb, and it wasn't about a certain subject. And a lot of people look up podcasts for a certain subject, and I feel like maybe that wouldn't be the best as a show unless you really like me and Kaleb.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, it's like the Kaleb and Joe fan show.
At some point, I'm saying, you might want to try playing the home game again. I don't think it would be that bad.
I am considering
building your following. I think then people would kind of follow you to it.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now, I'm considering it with the backdrop of education. I'm an educator. My career in education is taking off by leaps and bounds. Like I'm climbing the ladder of the local area school district. I'm kind of being groomed for administration, and the natural progression for someone like me is to start talking about it, because there's one thing to make changes. It's another thing to talk about those changes with an audience that can actually go out and do it themselves as well. And there's a lot in education that there are problems with. I know that is a topic that is no one of this audience is gonna be like, oh dude, I'm down for an education podcast. Let's get that going.
Gammon Stark will.
I'm saying right now, I feel just as passionately about my job as I do about other things that I talk about a lot, and I could see that happening in the future.
I know we have at least one listener who was training to be a teacher.
Yeah, Sinner is a teacher. I think Brandt actually has some. Didn't he teach for a little while, or was it someone else I was thinking of?
I don't know.
I swear to God, he can.
We meet a lot of people.
Gammon. Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah,
there's a few.
So maybe some people will follow you on that if you so choose to do it. But I would recommend going and checking out Banedrom shows. Thank you so much, Banedrom, for coming on to Ultimate Final Fantasy for this very loose, very casual episode.
And very pushed off. It took us a long time to finally get this together. It
took forever. My part is too, man. I'll take full responsibility. I would set up dates and be like, nope, can't do it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Saturdays are rough, but we made it happen. And it's not, this isn't an interview. This is old comrades in arms picking up the mic and just shooting the shit. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's pretty much a Discord or TeamSpeak conversation.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, and if I were drinking, it would be even better. But
yeah,
unfortunately, I'm sober at the moment.
I'll give you. It is somewhat of a show because I don't think I can let the Princess Bride thing go for very long. And if we were on TeamSpeak, I think
that would be digging in. Yeah, I would have muted you guys and just fucking went off into my own thing.
I would say go back in and listen to the rest of the episode, Princess Bride, because I rated it higher than you would have guessed based on the first 5 minutes, and I fucking love Andre the Giant in that movie. there instead.
All right. Like, I understand not having the kind of look back or the because you didn't watch it back then, I guess.
It was not. I have no nostalgia for it. Yeah, no sentimentality for that movie whatsoever.
And so in that way, it's probably like a super dated movie.
And whatever, Robin Wright Penn is an emotionless husk. I'm using the husk.
Wait, hold on.
Movie.
In that first 5 minutes, didn't you call William Goldman a hack?
I don't think I use the word hack. I don't think that the story is very. I think the book is probably
the writer of All the President's Men. You called.
I said for that movie. I said that one instance. I have never seen All the President's Men either. Is that a good?
My God! It's one of the best films ever made.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right. You know what? Talk Conan. Talk Demolition Man. Talk First Blood. Then we'll go. Did you like my First Blood episode?
For Cinema Throwdown?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if I listened to that one. I think I might have.
I love that movie.
It's been a good while. How long ago did you do that one?
2 months maybe.
Oh, no, I probably didn't listen to it then.
It's good. Go back. Check it out.
I will. I enjoy the movie First Blood.
I was I love that movie. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
And you brought up Conan, and I literally watched Conan yesterday.
Yeah.
Dude, then go right now when you have time, staying up all night working. Check out our Conan episode on Test Pattern because it's hilariously good. I love it.
Oh, on Test Pattern. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
that's why I haven't listened.
That's the problem when you have 7 different social media accounts. Everyone's like, wait, what show are you doing on what now? Yeah, Conan is Test Pattern. We did Conan the Barbarian, Conan Destroyer, double episode. It's great fun.
Sweet. Okay, everybody go check out Banedrom's podcast, and I think that's going to be it for today's episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. You can go to youtube.com/Ultima Final Fantasy. You can tweet me at Joseph Vigilier.
Me at UFF Podcast.
And Banedrom.
Me at Banedrom.
There you go. At Banedrom. You can support us on Patreon if you so desire. If you support us for a certain amount for a long, long time,
you can get an episode.
Get on the show if
just
you
like
want.
Banedrom.
Just like Banedrom. So thank you for your support over the while, Banedrom. I really appreciate it.
While you're there on Patreon, you can check out Test Pattern on Patreon as well.
There you go.
We do monthly commentaries. We just dropped one for Chopping Mall. It's fucking awesome commentary for Chopping Mall.
Chopping Mall.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think that's going to be our. That's going to be our go-to for Nude Clan commentaries. It's just fucking movies, just random movies that we love.
We did our first one on Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So
I think that one I have heard of. I've never heard of Chopping Mall.
It was a Jim Wynorski movie, actually, if you're familiar with that piece of shit director.
I'm not.
Oh, man.
You can go to twitch.tv/Ultima Final Fantasy. You got a Twitch, Banedrom?
No, I have one. I don't fucking use it. I think you'll see some videos from Far Cry Primal from like 2 years ago, maybe.
Nice. And you can go to ultimafinalfantasy.com, join our forums there, join the discussion, and
ask us questions.
I just got hiccups, so that's great.
Hang out, a lot of good stuff on the site, and give us a call if you guys have an intro, if you guys have a question, news article, whatever you want. It's 385-204-3921. Again, that's 385-204-3921.
We'll see you next week.
Enjoy the grind.
This has been another production of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. The show was produced by Joseph DeGollier and Caleb Schweiss, with music and editing by Joseph DeGollier, parodies and clips from their respective authors, of course. You can get all of our episodes as well as our Let's Plays at ultimafinalfantasy.com. You can also contact us on Twitter at UFF Podcast, as well as our contact page on our website. Be sure to subscribe and review our podcast. Your reviews may get read on the show, and look forward to the next episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast.